Hello, my name is Zach Madison, and I'm a violinist and singer in the string quartet multi-string ensemble band Invoke. And we're very excited to be playing on Concert Artists Guild's virtual season, Meeting the Moment. Now, the pandemic has hit artists like us in Invoke very hard, but we've spent the downtime not touring, creating new content, new songs, new material for you all to enjoy. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Nick to introduce the first two pieces on tonight's program.
So the next couple songs we're going to play for you were both inspired by the same short story. The story is by Ted Chiang. He's most well known probably for his story that inspired the movie Arrival. But this story that inspired these two works is called The Merchant and the Alchemist's Gate. And it follows the story of a man who finds himself in an antiques shop full of dusty things and old wares. And he meets the shopkeeper who takes him, into the back room with all the secret stuff. And the shopkeeper has a gate, a doorway, that if you enter it from one direction, you're transported 20 years into the past. But if you enter it from the other direction, you're transported 20 years into the future. So us being the sci-fi nerds that we are, really loved that concept. And so I wrote two songs inspired by this short story. The first is called Alchemy, and then the second one is Doorway.
Just a form of alchemy. Led to gold, but blind to see. Merchant vessel lost her way. place you had forgotten. The sands lead you astray. These dunes still left untrodden. But in 20 days you'll lose her. Those 20 years ago, your feet will leave no trace here. Yet you write to let her know. Go now through that doorway to the place you once called home. You'll be too late to save her, yet her words will be your own. You're all I wanted, this wall my haunting. Your name is calling, but still it falls.
The next tune we have for y'all this evening is one that's based on the U.S. prohibition of alcohol. It was a song that I wrote towards the beginning of the pandemic when we were realizing that things weren't going to be getting back to normal as quickly as we thought. And I was trying to think of times in history where bartenders and liquor store owners perhaps were also having a difficult time, people in the service industry with their work and their jobs. And the time of the prohibition really stuck out. So I wrote this sort of exploring the idea of what it would have been like to be a bartender or a liquor store owner in the time of the prohibition, trying to provide for your family or for yourself in the face of legislation that was basically saying that what you were doing is illegal. Hope you guys enjoy Prohibition Song. Up the door frame here, the men
manager, she tells us to all clear. Sorry, officer, I can't allow you in. But there's a crate of pretty South American gin just around the corner, hiding in the bin. Oh, the senators are calling for some cheer, some whiskey, blended wine, and homemade beer. They say don't be concerned, we'll work around the laws we passed and push the whole thing down. The guards will let you in without a sound. For every fella working out there still, there's a dozen men like them who'll pay the bill. They tell us that we can't afford our homes, that our wives and kids will soon be skin and bones, and we'll end up homeless, drunk, and all alone. Oh, well, I don't believe we'll all end up in hell. A little fear of fire has served me. As if what we drink sinks deeper than our bones. And if there's only one thing this has ever shown, I know where I'm going. I'm paying for it anyway. Oh, another round, and let's make one thing clear. People of all sorts are welcome here. Now everybody raise a glass and pour. Pour one out for hers and his and theirs and yours. Let's drink tonight behind the screen door.
love a good fast tune, this next piece takes the energy back a little bit. It was written by George Walker, who unfortunately is less well known than he should be. He just passed away a few years ago, actually, and was a prolific composer and wrote many works for many different types of ensembles, and actually was the first Black American recipient of a Pulitzer Prize in composition. This piece comes from an earlier work of his. It's entitled Lyric for Strings. It was borrowed actually from his first string quartet, which he wrote when he was just a teenager, and around that time in his life, his grandmother passed. So he dedicated the second movement of that quartet kind of as an in memoriam to her, and you'll hear very clearly how he thought about his grandmother.
Thank you all so much for joining us this evening. We have one final piece for you tonight. But before we get there, please stay in touch through our social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and newly, we're on Patreon. Patreon is a subscription service where patrons can help support their favorite artists. Invoke's been doing this since last year, and we've been doing a live stream monthly concert of completely new original material that we've either gone out and found or written ourselves or maybe arranged. Which leads me to the final piece of the program. This is the first cover tune voted on by our Patreon subscribers that we did in August of 2020. Nick arranged this. It's Limelight by Rush.
Living on a lighted stage approaches the unreal for those who think and feel in touch with some reality beyond the gilded cage. Cast in this unlikely role, ill-equipped to act with insufficient tact, one must put up barriers to keep oneself intact. Living in the limelight, the universal dream for those who wish to seem, and those who wish to be must put aside the alienation, get on with the fascination, the real relation, the underlying theme. Living in a fisheye lens, caught in the camera eye. I have no heart to lie. I can't pretend a stranger is a long-awaited friend. All the world's indeed a stage, and we are merely players, performers and portrayers, each another's audience outside the